Hello dear students, welcome to this class of BA Part First General English. And dear students, today we'll discuss a very beautiful and interesting story by Ruskin Bond. And the title of this story is The Night Train at Devli. This particular story has been taken from The Night Train at Devli and other stories uh, composed by Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond, as you all know, was born in Kasoli in 1934. He has written over 100 short stories, essays, novels, and books for children. His collection of short stories include The Night Train at Devli and other stories, Time Stops at Shamli, and Our Trees Still Grow in Dehra. Ruskin Bond received the Sahitya Academy Award in English uh, for his writing in English in India in 1992. For Bond, life is not about dramatic and momentous incidents, but of tranquility lost and regained, of love, of romance and nature, where time is the catalyst of change. So he believes, Ruskin Bond believes that time is the real catalyst that brings change. And he loved the natural landscape of Dehra and around the Himalayan region. The short story, this particular short story, dear students, The Night Train at Devli, is a sweet tale of unrequited adolescent love. When he was a child, how he used to travel uh, for his summer vacations in Dehra at his grandmother's place, and on the way, he witnessed a beautiful girl whom he could never forget. So, what is the story? Let us find out. Bond says, when I was at college, I used to spend my summer vacations in Dehra at my grandmother's place. So he was doing his college and he used to spend his summer vacations in Dehra at my grandmother's place. Says that I would leave the plains early in May and return late in July. Used to spend these 2 months, May, June, and July at Devli. Devli was a small station about 30 miles from Dehra. It marked the beginning of the heavy jungles of the Indian Tarai. So, Devli, a small station about 30 miles from there. The train would reach Devli at about 5 in the morning, that is very early in the morning at 5, when the station would be dimly lit with electric bulb and oil lamps. The station, it was dimly lit, and the jungle across the railway tracks would just be visible in the faint light of the dawn. In the early morning, one could see the jungle across the railway tracks. Devli had only one platform. There was only one platform at Devli station, an office for the station master, and a waiting room. This was all at the Devli station. Devli uh, platform, the platform at Devli, it boasted of a tea stall. There was a tea stall, a fruit vendor, and a few stray dogs, and some stray dogs also. Not much else because the train stopped there for only 10 minutes before rushing into the forest. Why it stopped at Devli, I don't know. He says that why the train stopped at Devli, I don't know. Nothing ever happened there. Nobody got off the train and nobody got in. He says that I don't know why the train stopped there, but nobody got off the train and nobody got in. There were never coolies on the platform. Even the coolies were there, not there at the platform. But the train would halt there a full 10 minutes. It was a regular interval for the train that it always halted for 10 minutes, and then a bell would sound, the guard would blow the whistle, and Devli would be left behind and forgotten. This all used to happen. I used to wonder what happened in Devli behind the station walls. Now, this was the curiosity in the mind of the young Bond. She says, I used to wonder what happened in Devli behind the station walls. I always felt sorry for that lonely little platform and for the place that nobody wanted to visit. Why nobody got off the train at Devli? I decided that one day I would get off the train at Devli and spend the day there just to please the town. So he says that one day I will definitely got off the train and spend a day there in Devli. He says that he was 18 years old, visiting my grandmother at the night train stopped at Devli, and a girl came down the platform selling baskets. Now he remembers that particular incident. He says that I was 18 years old when I was visiting my grandmother, and the night train stopped at Devli, and suddenly a girl came down the platform selling baskets. It was a cold morning, and the girl had a shawl thrown across her shoulders. Her feet were bare, and her clothes were old, but she was a young girl, walking gracefully and with dignity. So, this is the description of the girl that he gives us, that she was bare feet and her clothes were old, but she was a young girl, walking gracefully and with dignity, selling baskets. When she came to the window, she stopped. She saw that I was looking at her, and at first she pretended not to notice. She had pale skin, set off by shiny black hair and dark troubled eyes. So this is another graphic description that the author he presents to us of the young girl. And then those eyes, especially mentions the eyes, searching and eloquent, met mine. So he says that uh, we had an eye contact. She stood by the window for some time, and neither of us said anything. There was no dialogue in between. But when she moved on, I found myself leaving my seat and going to the carriage door and stood waiting on the platform, looking the other way, looking for the girl. I walked across the tea stall. A kettle was boiling over on a small fire, but the owner of the stall was busy serving tea somewhere on the train. The girl followed me behind the stall. Do you want to buy a basket? She asked. They are very strong, made of the finest cane. So the girl selling the basket, she asked him whether he wants to buy a basket. No, I said, I don't want a basket. Why? We stood looking at each other. He says that for a while we stood looking at each other. For that seemed a very long time. And she said, are you sure you don't want a basket? All right, give me one. So the narrator he says that I asked for the basket. Okay, give me one, I said, and I took the one on top and gave her a rupee, hardly daring to touch her fingers. So this is the adolescent love that emerged at the first meeting. As she was about to speak, the guard blew his whistle. Sorry, the guard blew his whistle, and she said something, but it was lost in the clanging of the bell and the hissing of the engine. He could not hear what the girl had said. I had to run back to my compartment. The carriage shuddered and jolted forward. So he left the moment. I watched her as the platform slipped away. She was alone on the platform and she did not move, but she was looking at me and smiling. I watched her until the signal box came in the way, and then the jungle hit the station, but I could still see her standing there alone at the platform. So this is the incident that happened, and the narrator, the writer, that is Ruskin Bond, he says, I sat up awake for the rest of the journey. I could not rid my mind of the picture of that girl's beautiful face and her dark, smoldering eyes. Says, I was lost in the beauty of her face and her eyes. When I reached Dehra, he says, the incident became blurred and distant. I forgot that, for there were other things to occupy my mind. It vanished. The incident, it vanished from my mind. I was looking out of her at the train to the platform. He says that I remembered her when I was uh, again traveling back after 2 months. I was looking out of the window for her, and I felt an unexpected thrill when I saw her walking up the platform. I sprang off the footboard and waved to her. Uh, he found that girl, and this that I also waved to her. When she saw me, she smiled. She was pleased that I remembered her, and I was pleased that she remembered me. We were both pleased, and it was almost like a meeting of old friends. So, a very pleasant moment for the narrator and for the girl. She did not go down the length of the train selling basket, but came straight to me to the tea stall. Her dark eyes were suddenly filled with light. We said nothing for some time, but we couldn't have been more eloquent. I felt the impulse to put her on the train there and then and take her away with me. So the writer says that I had this intention in my heart that I could take her with me. I could not bear that thought of having to watch her recede into the forest at Devli station. I took the baskets from her hand and put them down on the ground. She put out her hand for one of them, but I caught her hand and held it. I love to go to Delhi. I have to go to Delhi, he says. She nodded. I do not have to go anywhere. The girl said that I do not intend to go anywhere. The guard blew his whistle for the train and the train left the platform. I will come again, I said. Will you be here? She nodded again, and as she nodded, the bell clanged and the train slid. I had to wrench my hand away from the girl and run for the moving train. So, this was the last time when they had that beautiful meeting at the platform. Again, Bond says that when I again traveled back to Dehra the next year, the next time I was ready to witness the girl there, to find that girl there. This time I did not forget her. She was with me for the remainder of the journey and for the long after. He says that when the college term finished, I packed in haste and left for Dehra earlier than usual. My grandmother would be pleased at my eagerness to see her. I was nervous and anxious as the train drew into Devli because I was wondering what I should say to the girl and what I should do. These questions were pondering my mind. I was determined that I would stand helplessly before her, hardly able to speak or do anything about my feelings. And the train uh, came to Devli, and I looked up and down at the platform, but this time I could not see the girl anywhere. I opened the door and stepped off the footboard. I was deeply disappointed and overcome by a sense of foreboding. Says, because I could not find the girl. Then I ran up to the station master and asked, "Do you know the girl who used to sell baskets here?" "No, I don't," said the station master, "and you would better get on the train if you don't want to be left behind," he advised me. But I paced up and down the platform and stared over the railings, looked for the girl everywhere, near the tea stall, but I couldn't find the girl. But at Devli, there was when I again left for the plains from my grandmother's place. I found a new station master at Devli. The previous man had been transferred to some another station, and the new man didn't know anything about the girl who sold baskets. So this is how the writer, the narrator, he says that the Devli platform was now a lonely place for me. And I always, whenever I crossed this Devli platform by train, I used to look for that girl, and in my mind, I made it sure that sometime I will get at Devli and would search for that girl. He says that I consoled myself throughout my last term in college. I went to Dehra again in the summer, and when in the early hours of the morning the night train drew into Devli station, I looked up and down the platform for the signs of that girl. I wouldn't find her, but hoping just the same. He says that I was afraid whether she has what has happened to the girl. Perhaps she was no longer in Devli. Perhaps she was married. Perhaps she had fallen ill. So all these questions they bothered me. And the narrator he confessed that in the last few years I have passed through Devli many times, and I always look out of the carriage window, half expecting to see the same unchanged face smiling up at me. So he has this desire. I wonder what happens in Devli behind the station walls, but I will never break my journey there. Says I never break my journey there. It may spoil my game. I prefer to keep hoping and dreaming. And with this hope and dream, the writer ends, and he says that it was really a very beautiful experience for me. I never break my journey at Devli, but I pass through as often as I can, admiring to see the beautiful face of that girl sometimes, but in no vain. Dear students, I hope you have understood this lovely adolescent uh, incident narrated by Ruskin Bond in The Night Train at Devli. Thank you very much.